Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturning. For this project I had a piece of Padauk laying around the shop, an end of a board from previous projects, and I thought that would be perfect for a plate like this one. Now, when I go to club meetings, and I enjoy going to club meetings, there's always a show and tell where people bring in their current work. But one thing that I don't like to see is when I pick up one of those fantastic pieces and I look at the bottom, because I've got to read who they are, right? Okay. And I see this half-inch deep, or even bigger sometimes, mortise in the bottom, which is how they held it onto their chuck. And it doesn't need to be that deep, not for fine work of the quality that I'm referring to. Mine is about 3/16, and I could probably make that even smaller, down to maybe an 1/8, or maybe even less if I really got careful about it. Keep the mortises as shallow as possible. But the other thing, for Padauk at least, that was my really good friend this time, since all the dust is this nasty red stuff and it smells, my half-face respirator with dust-rated pads on it so that I can breathe easier despite all the dust. And I'm starting to use that on anytime I'm sanding. So for now, let's make this little plate. I have this piece of Padauk, an offcut from previous projects. It is already about the right size for a small plate. To find the center, I'm using the diagonal line method by placing my rule on opposite corners and marking the intersection of the two diagonals. Then I'm gently pressing the wood against a wooden faceplate. I don't want the live center point to dig deeply into the wood. Then I'm applying 4 beads of hot melt glue between the edge of the faceplate and the Padauk. To make sawing and turning easier, then the faceplate also serves as a guide while bandsawing the corners off the wood. Now with the wood mounted again on the lathe, I can begin rounding the blank. I'm using a bowl gouge to approach the corner from the bottom, where I can more easily hit side grain and start writing a bevel. I did not think very far ahead on this one. I marked for a tenon before I thought that this would be better and easier if I used an expansion mount in a mortise. Fortunately, the outside of my smaller jaws is close to the inside of the medium jaws. I'm starting to cut the mortise with a parting tool, but I don't want to go too far with the live center still in place. I'm trying to form an OG curve, then retract the live center and refine the mortise. I want a good flat inside the mortise. I'll round over the corner later while sanding, then sand from 80 grit up to 400 grit. Before I apply finish, I want to cut just a couple of small circles inside the mortise for decoration. Since this will be the final finish inside the mortise, I will sign it now before applying lacquer. Then apply brushing lacquer to the bottom, wipe it off, and buff it with a paper towel before prying off the plate from the faceplate. Now I can remount the plate using the mortise with an expansion hold. With the shallow mortise, I also want live center pressure, but I'm cushioning the point with a rubber stopper. I'm working first near the rim, then work more toward the center. At the last minute, pull back the live center so I can finish off across the entire inside surface. Then sand the interior from 80 grit up through 400 grit. I touched up the bottom side with finer grits. Then to apply brushing lacquer, wipe it off, and buff with a paper towel. The paper towel buff does not give the shine I want on this plate. I'm buffing it again on the triple buff system. If I had to do it all over again, I would not purchase this system, because at about the size of this project, it gets hard to manipulate the plate between the separate buffing wheels. Still, I manage. This dish did not take very long, but is very pretty. I like it. It has a good feel and weight. The Padauk will darken over time, but still will be very beautiful. I like the wall thickness and my mortise depth. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, tell your friends, and send me your comments and questions. Every week I make a new wood turning video. Please wear your full face shield anytime the lathe is running. Until next week's video, this is Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns.